They want this. So what, maybe after the minutes? I just think let's try it and see how it works. If we don't like it, get back together.
Is this anything?
Yep, you can have that side as well. Yeah, because this is it for. Oh, Joe might be coming. Joe Miano. She's downstairs. Sorry. So whatever, Cindy, I took your minutes and I, rather than in the meeting, do cross out some changes, I just wrote what I thought. Just to,
Then I'm gonna take yours.
and I brought copies and I emailed it to everybody.
Oh, all right, then I'll.
Yeah, hold on to yours, because I would suggest we work off of these and read and edit those and discuss a few of those.
Yep, that works.
And I put all my changes in capital letters.
Oh, good, okay.
So it didn't really almost indicate what it was. Sorry. Uh-oh. Got them on somebody else's list. No. So what we decided is when somebody goes to talk, we're going to sit in the chair. Oh, no. See.
Which computer you use?
Which one?
The buildings?
I think he's from Portsmouth.
Oh, really?
We're all wrong. They come out of the same line. Just like separate areas.
It's not. That's the biggest stuff. So,
Joe's coming, he's on his way.
you sent the minutes?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 5:30. Oh, just yeah.
Joe's on his way.
Yeah, he just about to say. I'm gonna get a
Sit
person.
up there. You won't have to sit up there.
Unlocked, right? The door's unlocked. Right, Michael?
We're gonna, yeah. I think I got a call to Cindy, so she sent me minutes. A little bit ago, and I told her the attachment of this.
I just want to let you know that from time to time, I may be informing you that someone has their hand up to speak. Okay. And in case you didn't hear me before, this is recording and live streaming now.
I didn't hear that.
I said we are live streaming and recording right now.
Minutes.
After the minutes, you want to read first, and then, when Joe gets back, we'll go to the meeting. Sounds good?
Come here, show your minutes.
Hey, you want to, you want to read it? Yeah, no, take that, take that.
Thanks, Don, I appreciate you doing. Because I know there were things that we missed.
There was one other thing I missed.
Okay. Page 1, page 2.
Yeah, it's a totally separate item, so we can just.
Oh, all right.
I'm Bill Ryan, Beach Commission, and we're gonna open up the meeting at 7:05.
Oh, boy.
Would somebody like to read the minutes, or did everybody?
You want to listen to this present bill for the audience?
Bill Ryan, President, Commission.
Michael Cooper, present.
I'm sorry, but you guys are gonna have to go to the computer because we cannot hear you. I know that's inconvenient, but you're gonna have to. It's not fair to the public watching this because you can't hear.
No, why don't you just state all the members? They're not voting, you can just say who's in attendance.
I'm Bill Ryan, the meeting is opened at 7:05. Present, Commission is Don Maderas, Mike Colorelli, and Joe Miano, and Patrick Canane. And now we're gonna go over the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, Don Maderas, I would like to include an item for the May 26 minutes that was omitted from the minutes we have in front of us for approval. And that was our vote on the May 26th to establish a subcommittee to assess the town beaches regarding access, parking, drainage, etc., for the purpose of improving the same.
Has everybody read the minutes?
Yes.
I think that their stream has frozen. All right, to all that are listening to this meeting right now, I am going to attempt to help them technologically to get them back online again. Please be patient, thank you.
Here we go.
Oh,
All right, go back. Mr. Chairman, Don Maderas, I prepared a brief statement that I'd like to read. I think it would be helpful to the commission and the members of the audience. And that's okay, I'll
Yes.
get going. Okay, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the governor closed non-essential businesses and activities with a stay-at-home order. This included beaches, parks, and other recreational facilities. From the beginning, it was made clear that the situation was fluid and subject to change, and it was not certain that the beaches would even be open at the start of or at any time during the summer. Accordingly, the Beach Commission made preparations for training staff and operating the beach under the COVID-19 safety protocols, should the beaches be allowed to. open. The police department was and continues to be extremely helpful in training the staff dealing with situations related to social distancing and other requirements. The commission recognized the significant added responsibility and workload of the beach staff in conjunction with the uncertain time schedule, and therefore determined that allowing campers and campfires would add too great a burden to the staff with regard to enforcing compliance with the governor's mandate. In order to comply with the state mandated beach closures, the commission, in conjunction with the town council, police and fire chiefs, installed temporary movable Jersey barriers at South Shore Beach, Town Landing, and at the entrance to Rhode Island Road, the access to Lloyd's Beach. Upon monitoring the effectiveness of the Jersey barriers at the entrance to South Shore Beach, it was found that they were being moved on a routine basis by individuals gaining vehicular access to the beach parking lot. Because the barriers were ineffective, and in order to comply with the governor's mandate, the Beach Commission determined the gate at the entrance to the beach was necessary to ensure compliance. The gate was installed with the concurrence of the police and fire chiefs and with the concurrence of the town council. As part of phase 1 reopening, the governor declared that beaches could be open provided the social distancing and other protocols were strictly adhered to. The mandate for compliance included limiting the beaches to half capacity. At that time, and in order to comply with the governor's directive, the commission determined the gate would be closed and locked when the beach parking lot was not open and staffed. The commission has been constantly adapting to the rapidly changing situation, which continues to remain fluid. The health and safety of the staff has been its primary concern. The lifeguard and other beach staff, for the most part, are young adults. While they are expertly trained as lifeguards, they are not trained as nor intended to be security guards. The commission does not desire the gate to be locked or to prevent vehicular access to the parking lot. However, the commission is responsible for operating the beach in compliance with the constantly changing COVID-19 governor-mandated protocols. If the commission does not ensure compliance, we risk losing the licenses for running the beach, those licenses being issued by the Rhode Island DEM and the Rhode Island Department of Health. As you can see, this is a fluid situation in which the commission is trying to comply with state mandates, while at the same time addressing local changes that stem from the statewide mandates. Thank you.
Bill Ryan, Beach Commission. Now I'm going to have Jim read something.
That's it.
Carl, the manager of the beach.
Okay, basically what I'm reading now is an outline of proposed operational procedures for access to South Shore Beach for the rest of the summer. Basically what we propose is at 5 a.m. Wilton Police will open the gate at South Shore for residents only between 5 and 8 a.m. In the event that weather or large surf, we will provide a gate attendant to be down there and enforce the residents only. Ticket Shack will open at and by a beach employee till 5. Residents, non-residents will be admitted. Non-residents will pay daily rate. No fire permits or campers will be allowed. Cars will be limited to 125. First 100 being residents and non-residents. The last 25 being residents only. Anyone entering the beach will be informed that they must be off the beach. Again, time has not been set yet, either sunset or 11. When the gate will be locked again. Ticket Shack closing 5 p.m. Employees will turn over admission responsibilities to a 2-man security detail. The detail will be informed of the number of cars on the beach and control the 125 car limit. The detail will only allow residents with stickers and seasonal passes in after 5 p.m. The detail Beach, they must be off the beach by sunset 11 p.m., whichever time is selected for closing. When the gate will be locked, the detail will enforce beach rules such as no fires on campers, etc. Blah, blah, blah. During inclement weather, South Shore is not normally manned. During these days with inclement weather, an event, the gate will be left open. Manager will return at sunset/11 to close and lock that gate in that event. These are all subject to change based on the governor's requests and documentation. Again, this will change and we'll go back to normal once the governor releases the state of emergency.
Thank you, Jim. Bill Ryan, the Beach Commission. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to give their opinion?
I have one question here from a Nancy who says, how are beach staff at risk once the beach closes for the day and they go home?
They don't understand that question. Could you be more clear on that?
Well, let me see if I can allow her to speak and she can clarify.
Hi, everybody. Actually, hi, how are you?
Doing well.
Good. Actually, you answered that question once you stated the new proposal, so I kind of spoke too soon. You will see my next comment as excellent, thank you. That's it.
No question.
I appreciate.
I would like to add to that previous statement. Okay, one thing I would like to add to that previous statement, it still hasn't been determined how to pay for this detail at night and stuff like that. So this is something the Beach Commission and, Tony, the town administrator, will have to work on. There've been several proposals, but nothing set on how to do this. The secondary thing is if they do approve this, it's not going to go into effect overnight. We still need to hire the people to do it, so it will not happen immediately. Right?
That is understandable.
Cheryl, Katie, you were up next to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing at the beach. I think the only question I have is I'm not understanding the closure from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. I'm still seeing that as restrictive, and I haven't seen where the governor is saying that it needs to be closed from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. In the past, the beach technically closed at 11 p.m., but people could still access that parking lot and go fishing at 4 a.m. or whatever time they wanted to. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people there between those hours, and I don't see that social distancing would be an issue. So I'm not quite sure why it's being closed during that time.
Again, Cheryl, that's basically to maintain the protocols with the social distancing and to gain some control down there. Again, we have had mornings with heavy surf where we've gone down at 5 a.m. and there's been 100 cars in parking. So again, it's to gain a little bit of control on that.
I guess my concern is that it not become the practice that the gate will use.
This is not going to be the practice. This is all because of the protocols. Once the governor releases the state of emergency, 99% of this will all disappear.
Okay, so is there a plan, because she's saying that either Friday or Monday, she will be coming back with a new plan for larger groups and weddings and all of that sort of thing. So is there a plan that as soon as she releases those restrictions, that the gate can be open and be left open? Or are we going to have to wait for another 2 weeks or a month, whenever? I don't know when your next meeting is.
Well, again, if what was just read before was adopted tonight, it'll be put in effect as soon as we can get the personnel in place.
Okay.
That will be the biggest problem in affecting that, is just hiring the people to take care of the nighttime detail and that sort of thing. Finding money. and the money to pay for it.
So may I suggest that, when you
That
take a
answer your
vote
question?
on, maybe, it does, but we didn't, I think once the restrictions are gone, do we still need a nighttime, person there? Again, we didn't have one in the past, so if there aren't restrictions, maybe we won't need that person. And I'd like to suggest that perhaps you, when you vote on this, that as soon as possible, even if it's before the next meeting, that the gate be unlocked if those restrictions are lifted.
005-707. That's. Who has that?
I think they all froze again.
Yeah, it's 005-707.
There we go. All right, guys, sorry about the losing you there for a minute.
I don't know what
We
happened.
think it might be the Wi-Fi cutting out.
Okay.
Can you hear us now, Pat Kinane?
Okay, I need to get back to the meeting though, thank you.
Nod your head if you can hear us.
Pat Kinane, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay.
I can hear you guys.
You have the
It's
SW loud?
a little laggy.
There's
Hi,
someone with
yeah,
the initials
Billy,
of
this is Julie
SWL
Lewis.
who wants to speak.
I have a question as to who is in touch with the governor's office. Are you checking in? Is anyone questioning what's going on? By the mere fact that she is attending mass protests. So people cannot go down to the beach, cannot get fresh air, yet she can attend this protest. And I feel as though we're kind of sitting back. Her office is putting out these mandates and they're unreasonable as if they're not in line with what she's doing. And I'm wondering, is anybody in touch with her office on a regular basis?
Yes, Julie, at this point in time, Tony Texera, the
Town
minister,
administrator.
he is on almost daily conferences with the League of Towns things. So he is in contact with what's going on in those things. And we feel your pain. Her regulations come out and her own agencies don't enforce them, but we are stuck with what is there. We do have to do this to comply for our licenses, our health department, and our DEM certifications.
Well, I would like to piggyback on what Cheryl said in that whenever you meet next, there's a plan in action when she does decide to release the state of emergency so it coincides with her own actions, and have a plan ready to open it up and get rid of the gate as soon as possible.
You're welcome.
Would anybody else like to speak from the audience?
Yes, there's a Hugh O'Mara.
Hello?
Hi, this is actually Kristen O'Mara. Do I need to give you my credentials or are you okay?
No, that's okay.
Okay. I'm just discussing with you about the Nature Conservancy. I did attend the Zoom meeting last week with the town council and a man spoke. He stated that the Nature Conservancy had requested a gate be placed at South Shore Beach because of some issues that were a problem after hours. And none of this has been mentioned. I would like to know what your stance is on that. I would like some transparency.
Don Maderas, I listened in on that council meeting and the Nature Conservancy representative, I didn't recall him saying that the Nature Conservancy requested the gate. I heard him say that the Nature Conservancy was happy the gate was there because it provided for security down on Goosewing Beach, security that the Nature Conservancy has been requesting of the Beach Commission for several years. And to the subject of how are we gonna, is the commission gonna find the money to pay for the security detail? I'll be making a motion later in the night to suggest that the Nature Conservancy pay for half the cost of the security detail because it's extremely beneficial to them, as that gentleman from the Nature Conservancy represented to the town council at their meeting last Thursday night.
John Burke, it's Mike Fogarelli. John
Mike, we
Burke.
can't hear you, Michael.
They can't hear you.
It's Michael Fogarelli. John Berg did say at the council meeting that the Nature Conservancy had requested. That issue is unrelated to what we're going through with COVID. So we haven't really finished discussing with the Nature Conservancy what the nature of their requests or the nature of our neighbor situation is on that beach. So it's really, it's unrelated to the gate that exists. The gate that exists only exists because of COVID.
I appreciate your responses. I do feel slightly nervous just because I feel like there might be some kind of connection with the Nature Conservancy and the Beach Commission and the gate. And
I can understand why, with everything that goes on these days, why anyone would imagine all kinds of things, but it's unrelated at this time, and it's something that we are not entertaining for that purpose. It's really about the COVID. So the Nature Conservancy.
it's just that everything about COVID doesn't make sense.
Well, that's
We're talking about after hours, people are not in large groups. And it seemed to benefit them in so many ways, which I understand. I love nature myself, but I do want to make sure everybody is aware that they may weigh into this.
Understood. Thank you.
Sure.
There's another hand up from Suzanne Madden to speak.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm just curious about having the staff. Is it the DEM requirements that are having you have staff at night to monitor social distancing, or is that something you're choosing?
Bill Ryan, Beach Commission. Hello, Suzanne.
Hi, Billy.
We're doing this so we can hold more spots for the town residents. So to make sure that we don't have a flood of people in there at night like we've had in the past. So we're gonna try to secure it just for townspeople at night.
Because by the time the job is posted and you hire, if it's a new posting, it's gonna take several weeks.
We're gonna try to put a rush on that, Suzanne, because we're almost in the middle of the season here, and we're gonna do our best to get somebody.
Right, but aren't there specifications about how long it has to be posted?
Maybe Carol can answer that.
Not for that particular type of position, no.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Might I ask one of the commission members or Jim to look at the chat feature? Because there are several questions there from people that would like some answers. And I could read them all, but it's better if it's read by yourself and then answered.
Jay Grogan, I heard that the Nature Conservancy requested the gate. We want the gate removed. Debbie Schrenard. So out-of-town campers at Round Meadows have 24-hour access to the town beach, and taxpayers have limited access. Is this correct? Next one down. My comment is that, as the commission can see by the questions, and I think I can speak for everyone. Oops, wait a second. Just moved, that I have spoken with is the townspeople. We are very concerned with the gate being left there after the pandemic is over. Mr. Madeira stated that 99% was going to go away. I hope he does not mean that the gate stays. Thank you. Robillard, Mr. Clifford, to comply with DEM social standing, social distancing. I think that's all the messages. Get rid of this.
Bill Ryan, is there any other person that would like to comment?
I do have one hand.
Okay.
That V20. V20, if you'd like to comment.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the beach is open during the week already or not. Is it just the weekends?
It opens full-time as of the 20th.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a Jenna Hashaway who would also like to speak.
Jenna, what would you like?
Hi, I asked two questions in the chat that you did not address. One was, once the governor's emergency declaration lapses, which I believe is supposed to happen on July 5th, will the gate go away? That's the first question. The second question is, I'd like to know if you can point us to exactly which regulation from the governor you're relying on when you took these measures. Thank you.
Jenna. You want to start with that? Right. Jenna, basically the governor's office of both DM and the health department sent us out an outline of what we need to do. We need to have a plan in place on how we're going to limit the amount of people at the beach. And that's where a lot of that came from. And again, we have to have that posted at the gate. The overall plan for the health of the employees and how we're going to deal with social distancing.
Okay, I guess I'm not clear on how that requires a gate and overnight closure. And is the gate temporary?
I believe they might have frozen again. We'll have to give them a second for the feed to come back in. While we're waiting for that feed to come back on, I'll just make mention that the reading that Jim did earlier in the meeting, I will likely be able to post it on our town website tomorrow when they give me permission.
There you go.
There you go.
Patrick, can you hear us? Carol?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, so yeah, just to repeat when I got cut off, so the gate, when the gate went up, it was because the governor then said the beaches were closed until further notice. So that was why the gate went up in the first place. We've had conversations with Chief Rains, Police Chief Rains. If he's in the audience tonight, I don't want to put words in his mouth. So maybe if he's there, he can come on and correct my understanding. But Chief Rains, as well as myself as a member of the commission, I don't know how the other members feel. When the COVID pandemic is over, I believe that the gate should stay there permanently open and would be then used as a public safety feature during hurricanes so that the police department and the other first responders can focus in that time of emergency on people that need help and not on people that intentionally put themselves in harm's way. So my opinion is that the gate should stay permanently open once the COVID pandemic is over, but it should stay for those public emergency situations involving hurricanes. My opinion is one member.
Thank you, Jim. If I can then give my opinion, I understand exactly what you mean about cases of emergency like hurricanes, but for as infrequently as that happens, and frequently we have plenty of notice, it certainly would make sense to store the gate elsewhere. And if you need it for an emergency, use it. But I think I'm just one little Compton voter who is really not in favor of having a permanent gate there, particularly one that was put in on this basis for a temporary COVID emergency and no real input from the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joe Miato, Beach Commission. I just wanted to make one comment, and maybe it'll clear some things up for some people. I've been approached by several people with questions about the gate, and I've been asked to make it clear that it is not the Beach Commission's intention to lock the beach at night in perpetuity. As soon as this thing is over, the beach access will be 100%. Donnie said 99, but I don't think he was referring to the beach being open. But the beach would be open 100% of the time like it always was in the past. There's no intention to restrict that at all. Thank you.
There is a question in the chat box that says, can camping applications be available before the camping gets reinstated so we can be approved and ready to go? I'm afraid this person didn't hear you say that there was no camping this year.
At this point in time, there's no camping, and to be perfectly honest with you, it does not look good for this season.
Suzanne Madden asked to speak.
Just one more question. So earlier somebody asked if when you vote tonight, will it be voted so that when Raimondo changes everything in her plan, the beach can automatically reopen, or is it going to be another beach commission meeting?
I would want to take, well, actually it should be a council. Okay, Suzanne, the answer to that, the minute the governor opens things, I don't like being a gate attendant. The minute the governor says the state of emergency is gone, I'm going to be the first one down there to lock that gate wide open. So yes, we will not need another beach commission meeting to do that. No.
That's wonderful news. Thank you.
In response to your answer about the camping, Debbie Schuenad, who spoke, she asked why.
Let me deal with that. Debbie, sorry, but at this point in time, and what we've been given, it just won't function. There's too many little rules and regulations, and it's even transit camping has been listed in one of their last documents as something that's not would not be acceptable at this point. So even campers for the day, we're not even allowed to do at this point.
V20 asked to be heard again.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to make one more comment. This is actually Neil Waite. I forgot to put my name in when signing up for the meeting. I've been going to South Shore since I was born with my grandmother and stuff, and I'd just like to see as little change as possible as far as the beach is concerned. I love going there. I want to keep going there. I mean, it has changed over the years as is, but as little change as possible would be great. That's all I had to say.
Joe Miato again. I just want to let everybody know that at least as the Beach Commission is currently constituted, I think I can say that the intention is for there to be no changes at the beach. We like the way that it's been run over the years. We want to keep it simple and natural and have no intentions to make any changes. Regarding the campers, that is something that is just for this year at this point in time. Unless something changes that is brought up to make something different, that's just for this year. Myself, my own personal being there at night on the weekends, having a presence down there is very valuable. And unfortunately, because of this COVID-19 crisis, we're unable to have that at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you'll do right by the residents. Thank you.
I have two more people that want to speak and one comment in the chat box that says, please provide the executive order that the governor ordered closure of town beaches. And then the people that wanted to speak are, I believe, Judy Grogan.
Judy, you've got the stage.
Hi, I wanted to know why it is that we can't have the beach unlocked during the day before the 20th. Is it a staffing issue or a control issue on the cars that go in there? I don't know if they can hear me.
You want to answer that? Hi, Judy. This is Jim Farrell. Basically, it's a control issue. We need to maintain social distancing and our limited amount of parking 100% of the time. We normally are not open full-time until the 20th, and we are still running basically under our protocols from there, and unfortunately, we don't have people to oversee that.
Is it not in the budget to be able to provide somebody to oversee that for the next 11 days? It's getting warmer and warmer each day.
Yep, well, we'll try to see what we can do tonight until we got, but right now, no, it's not in the plans. And again, a lot of these kids, the kids that would be manning the beach are still in school, even though they're at home, they're still dealing with schoolwork and things.
Here's an idea. Why not have enough keys made to that lock to give out to Little Compton residents that have beach stickers?
Yeah, I don't think that would be practical, but.
Not practical, but it would solve a lot of problems. There are many people that can't walk to that beach. I'm fortunate. If I wanted to, I can walk to the beach. But I have several neighbors that can't. They need a vehicle to be able to access the beach.
Well, hopefully we'll be changing that here.
When, in 11 days or perhaps tomorrow?
Well, it depends on what they vote on tonight.
Okay, I have another question. Who authorized that gate being put on public land? Isn't that public land? I mean, it's partway up South Shore Road.
That was the gate was gone through by the town, member of the town council, the police department, the fire department, and the beach commission.
And you were given a permit for that?
Permit.
It didn't require a permit to put a gate on a public road?
Not that I believe, no.
Not required here because it was an emergency situation.
Oh, because of the COVID-19 situation. One last question, and thank you for your patience. I see that Grinnell Beach, and I noticed in the chat that Fogland Beach, they're also open every day. So they're not having a control problem. I don't understand why we would down here.
As a matter of fact, they are having a control problem. If you notice, there's a Tiverton police officer there almost every day. Fogland has had half of their parking spaces roped off, and they keep having patrons come down and tear down the caution tape and stuff like that. So no, they're not exempt from all their issues. And they still need to comply with all the same things we do. Their beaches are not staffed yet either. They're still working on getting all their protocols in place and stuff like that. And hopefully they'll be staffed by within the next couple of weeks here also.
Just a thought, and then I'll step back. Any thought given to having town volunteers doing the controlling of the traffic coming in?
You can't do that.
No?
If somebody gets hurt, that runs into an insurance issue and that sort of thing. If they're an employee, they're covered by workman's comp, that sort of stuff.
Oh, I understand.
All
right, well,
we need to move on to someone else at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Silas.
Is there Nancy that has a question?
Silas Campbell is asked to speak.
Hi, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I think the beach commission froze again with their connection. We'll have to give them a second to reset their computer.
Okay.
we're back. Sorry about that.
Okay. Now, was Joe Mayato saying something before it was frozen?
Just asking who the other person was, Carol, that had a question.
Okay, it was Silas Campbell.
Yep, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So, first off, I'd just like to, acknowledge that I think everybody in town understands that these are extremely difficult and unprecedented times. And I think that everything that's been done and everything that both the Beach Commission and the Town Council are doing, I firmly believe that it's done with the best intentions. And I think it's, at least for me personally, it's greatly appreciated the work that you guys have been doing. I just wanted to give you a compliment on that at first. And then I'd like to say, when I first went down there and, was surprised by the gate, I was obviously alarmed and, frustrated. But, I had a brief conversation with Jim at the beach the other day. And from what I've seen in recent weeks from the town council and from this meeting, I'm extremely encouraged and happy to hear the way that things are going. And I almost wasn't going to say anything tonight because most of the concerns I had were cleaned up. But I did want to just make the point in terms of the necessity of the permanent gate in relation to the COVID situation. I did notice, I think it's worth saying that the temporary barrier that was in place, it was a couple orange parking cones and a chain across it, was working 100% well. And in previous years, we have had to close the beach for hurricanes, and it's a rare occurrence and it always works well. So I think the necessity of the gate was maybe a little overstated because the previous measures were working to 100% efficiency, right? So I think although it's very clear from the Beach Commission that you have great intentions for this gate and don't want to use it, it's just, I think, a step in the wrong direction. And maybe in 20 years, a different Beach Commission with different members would move to restrict access, and it'd be a lot easier for them to just buy a padlock than have to go through the motions to get a gate approved and do, right? So I think that's a concern that I've felt from a lot of people in town. I just wanted to state that we didn't need a permanent structure, and I agree it could be used as a tool and that it's not the intention currently, but it's just the precedent that it sets for the future, could be concerning. So I just wanted to, put that out.
Hey Silas, it's Joe Mayato. I don't know if you were involved in some of the previous meetings, but it was already explained previously that the reason that the gate ended up getting installed is because initially we had barriers there similar to a Jersey barrier. They're plastic and they're hollow. We originally put those in place and people shoved them out of the way and didn't respect the beach closure and went in. We then filled them up with water and people still shoved them out of the way. I don't know how they did it, maybe with a truck or something, and still did not respect the closure. That's the reason that the gate ended up there, not for any other reason. The intention originally was just to use those barriers. Thank you.
Right, and thanks for that clarification because I wasn't aware of that. And I frequently go down there, and personally, I hadn't seen any issues when I was biking. So to me, it was working well. But I understand that there are some folks that might do harm and do things. I just think it's important, and maybe there could be some language in whatever motion that is passed similar to people's concerns over as soon as the governor lifts her restrictions, we're 100% open. If it could just be documented that, in a legal manner that the gate was never intended to restrict access so that 30 years from now, a different set of members aren't one step closer to restricting access. That's all. And thanks again for everything that you're doing. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, Carol?
There are several in the chat box. There were some that Jim did not see when he read before. And I have one resident that asks why the commission is picking and choosing what questions to answer from chat as he is unable to speak.
Why don't we have the people just raise their hand using that function and we can address them?
This particular resident, which happens to be Sid Wardell, for some reason can't speak live tonight. I could scroll back. Let me see if I can get to the beginning and read his. With numerous other town properties that are not being closed prior to 11, I continue to strongly oppose a closure of 5 p.m. or anything before 11. Then he goes on to say, I still maintain the Beach Commission has always used the 5 p.m. closure as the end of requirements at the beach, and ask why now are the Beach Commission exercising authority after 5 p.m.? And that's it. Those are his two comments.
I'm bringing up the 1938 document. I don't know, Mike, do you want to address that? Or? I think it's he just wants to know why we're there after 5 o'clock. And I think that 1938 document from this, that formed the Beach Commission states that basically the Beach Commission is in control of the beach 24/7.
Okay. I'm assuming he heard you. There's someone that's labeled as G6 who's asked to talk.
G6.
G6.
You'll need,
Sure.
they'll need to unmute
Who
themselves.
is this? G6, you need to unmute yourself and identify.
G6 going once. Maybe come back to them if they can. Carol, is G6 muted?
I have allowed him to be unmuted, and I've asked him to unmute himself, or she. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. Yeah, it's not working for some reason. Maybe they don't know how to unmute their phone or unmute their...
Maybe we can come back to them.
We can. There is another question here in the box that says, you stated earlier that students are still in school. Most college students and high school seniors are finished, and the high school kids are basically done with classes this Friday. Then there was another that said, who will have keys to the gate, and is there a concern that an emergency vehicle could need quick access to the beach and may be delayed by opening the gate?
With regarding the emergency access, both police and fire have access to the gate. They have keys. They also have a lockbox that has a key in it down there. And they've also said that if they have a real emergency, they all have bolt cutters and can get through it a lot faster that way. So there's no problem with access.
Okay. I believe that G6 might be unmuted now. Can you speak?
No comment.
Oh, okay, thank you. David Torrecinta would like to speak.
David, the stage is yours.
David, you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. Can you guys tell me, I couldn't hear earlier, has the Nature Conservancy been involved in this gate issue at all? And do they desire a gate?
Go ahead.
The Nature Conservancy is not involved in that gate at all. It's for them too.
Okay, thank you.
There was a comment earlier that the gate was the result of a request by the Nature Conservancy. That is incorrect.
Okay, but did someone say that the Nature Conservancy is glad that the gate is up?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I thought I heard. Now, does the Nature Conservancy have any influence on your decision making?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, none.
What about financially? If they offered some money, could they still make that gate stay up?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's a question in the chat box that says, could you please answer the question why the commission now chose to be involved after 5?
The commission has always been involved after 5. Going back, this is Jim Farrell. As long as I've been dealing with this beach, we've dealt with things after 5 o'clock. Everything from dangerous situations where we kept staff on after 5 to things like frostbite swims where we provided lifeguards on New Year's Day. To hurricanes where we've had staff down there from sunrise to sunset. So again, when you look at the 1938 document from the state legislature that created the Beach Commission, it basically states that the commission has 24/7, 365 days a year control over the beach.
So we will be posting that document.
Oh, I'm afraid we.
Okay, Michael Farquharari.
I think we've lost the Beach Commission again, their feed.
We're back again. Sorry, guys, we lost you again.
Okay.
Back in business.
There is a question in the Dropbox that says, does the Nature Conservancy have a key to the lock, to lock the gate?
I believe it's no.
They do. Yeah. They have access to the lockbox, but they don't have a key. So in the event that we decide that they need to talk to us more, we'll change the combination on the lockbox.
You might want to clarify that a little bit better. It just sounded like you were talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah, right now, yes, they do have access. It's not 100% access. They have access to a lockbox. There are some other issues that are going on with the Conservancy at this point, which may change that.
This is Don Maderas. We did vote at the last meeting to restrict the Nature Conservancy from access until certain issues are resolved. So, and I know that the access code on the lockbox can be changed on a daily basis or on an hourly basis. And I guess that's what we're gonna have to do to comply with the vote we took at the last meeting, to restrict their access to be no different from any other town landowner.
Okay. Mary Kate Canane would like to speak.
Mary Kate, the stage is yours.
Unmute. Hello, can you hear me? This is Mike.
Yes.
Hey, hey, Beach Commission. I'm definitely pretty stunned to hear that the Nature Conservancy has access to the beach. It sounds like there's a lot more, conversations behind closed doors. Obviously, I have nothing more to say right now other than I'm certainly very concerned with their connection right now. I'd certainly love to know more. I'm sure there's a lot that you guys are dealing with potentially. And like I say, just their potential affiliation with this gate and everything. It's just, I'm just very alarmed to hear that.
David,
I'm wondering if anyone can, bring a little clarity to this, if possible.
Yeah, Mike, this is Don Maderas. There have been no conversations with the Nature Conservancy behind closed doors. As I said at the last commission meeting, we voted to basically tell the Nature Conservancy, among other things, that they are restricted from using South Shore Beach parking lot as access to their property on Goose Wing. I wasn't aware that they did have access to the locked docks. I don't think that was the intention of the commission, and I believe we're going to rectify that immediately. Without going into a lot of details, the minutes that we approved tonight from the prior meeting, the last meeting that I spoke of, that explains quite a bit about what you're thinking might be conversations behind closed doors. But basically, to paraphrase, what we found out is without any knowledge, the Nature Conservancy sought and obtained a permit from CRMC to breach Juniper's Pond in addition to their renewal of their standing permit to breach Quixon Pond. This was all done without any knowledge by the Beach Commission, and it was, and it seems like an interesting narrative when you consider the way it was done, and it was recorded in the land evidence records. The commission took a vote at the last meeting, as will appear in the minutes, which approved tonight and will be posted, that the commission feels the Nature Conservancy had no right to include Juniper's Pond breaching with their renewal of their Quixon Pond breaching permit. That Juniper's Pond right to breach has been with the townspeople of Little Compton since the colonies. So we're reaching out to the Nature Conservancy to request that they request a revised permit from CRMC and record the revised permit with appropriate reference to say that the existing permit was requested, issued, and recorded in error. But I assure you, there have been no backroom conversations with anybody, especially the Nature Conservancy.
Yeah, thanks, Don. I think that's, my concern is just with them. I don't discount you guys. It's really, what they're up to is really my concern. And then to hear that they did have access, like I said, but, thanks for clarifying that much, Don.
Mr. Torrecinta, do you still have a comment?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Years ago, I think you remember, Carol, I spoke about the Nature Conservancy and our police department being paid overtime by the Nature Conservancy. This is what concerns me. I don't know if that's still going on now, but if our police department's being paid overtime by the Nature Conservancy, I don't know. It's just very concerning to me about that relationship.
You should ask the police department. That has nothing to do with us.
For the police department. I believe that was a special program, and I don't believe it's still going on now, but I can't be held accountable to that because I don't do their payroll.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, move on to the next item on the agenda.
Yeah.
The next agenda item, this is Don Medeiros, is on the Nature Conservancy permit we just spoke of. We need to basically draft a letter to the Nature Conservancy. This was decided again at the last meeting to advise them that the Beach Commission secretary is the point of contact for the Beach Commission and the Nature Conservancy. What we've been finding is that the Nature Conservancy has kind of been corresponding, picking and choosing which commission members to correspond with, which is just not in any way helpful or productive to the Beach Commission's agenda. So we will be sending that clarification to them, as well as sending the letter we spoke of to request them to seek a revised permit from CRMC and record that and correct the erroneously recorded permit. Thank you.
That cover both items done in the CRMC permit and the conservancy permit.
Well, Don Maderas, the next item is the CRMC permit for South Shore Beach. And I believe we need to send a letter to CRMC requesting the status of their review of that permit. That's the 10-year annual parking lot maintenance permit, which includes breaching Tunipers Creek as needed. And it also includes the Beach Commission's request to elevate the entrance of the beach a small amount to basically take care of the drainage issues that we're having down at the beach. We need to reach out to CRMC with a letter to get a response from them. Even if the response is we're still reviewing the permit, we just haven't heard from them.
Do you want to make that motion?
So I make that a motion.
I'll second that.
Do we have, let's vote on it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Before you move on further, might I make a comment that in the chat box there's a question when there will be a vote on 5 p.m. or 11 p.m. closure? Is anyone on the beach payroll at this point?
Sorry, Carla, could you repeat that?
Yep. When is the vote on 5 p.m. or 11 p.m. closure? And is anyone on the beach payroll at this point?
So I think we do need to vote on that.
We'll respond if the government changes things.
I still think you guys will need to vote on it to vote what you want to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the other things is picking the closing date. You want to close like the state parks, things like that, do at sunset, or you want to go to 11 o'clock?
I want to go to the 11 o'clock.
You want to go to the 11 o'clock?
All right, so I'll make a motion that Michael Colbert, I make a motion that the closing time would be 11 o'clock. And we when we have why don't we vote to accept this with the selection of 11 o'clock?
Yes.
Correct. So motion to accept the operational outline. To accept the operational outline as written. Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second with the stipulation of the close.
We've lost you again.
Okay, we're going to take this vote over because the computer went off. Do I have a motion to accept these?
I have a motion to accept the South Shore Beach operational outline for Exodus with the 11 o'clock closing.
Now Mike Focarelli making the motion, Don Maderas second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay.
Mr. Torresinta has another question.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Yes, thanks. I'm not clear on this because I don't see you on the list. Are you a member of the Beach Commission or are you a town employee?
I'm a town employee.
I'm Bill Ryan from the Beach Commission. He is our beach manager. He
No,
does a
beach-
lot of our footwork and helps us a great deal. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Well, not entirely. So he's allowed to participate in these meetings as the beach manager?
Yes, he does.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct. Did you hear that, though? He can participate and gives us recommendations, but the beach manager is not a voting member of this commission.
Okay, that clarifies it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda here. Security, we talked about that, we're down 611. Okay, the finances for 2021.
You have Sid Wardell who wants to speak.
Sid, floor is yours.
Needs to unmute.
Oh, Sid?
He's still muted. I don't. He may.
there?
I think he has technical difficulties. We might have to come back to him.
Okay. So the finances is going to be a rocky road, as we know. Is there anything that you would suggest, Jim, or any of the other beach commission members?
I personally think sitting down with Tony and talking to him further about, money that we turn over to town, that rolls over July 1st, we talk about how much less we can maintain next year.
Okay.
Again, in the initial, budget proposal that was given to them, we had 35,000 for the parking lot upgrade and 10,000 to go into the discretionary fund. I think we should be able to get at least that, more like 50,000 possible to roll over to help with the expenses next year because we're going to have them added this year.
Yeah.
Again, if we could, one of the commission members sit down with Tony and try to discuss that a little further, I think it would be a good way to go. I think also we need to sit down and do a plan of how we want to man the beach this summer. Do we want to trim way back on staff? Do we want to sit there and still man it the way it has been? Because we are going to run short next year.
I think we need to maintain safety. That means that we turn over the rest of the town, and that's what we need. I'd like to make a motion that we empower Billy to meet with the town manager and negotiate the amount retained.
Do I have a second?
Mike Fogarelli, I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, guys. Hey, sorry, it was a little difficult to understand. Could someone step closer to the computer?
Pat, what they were talking about was they put a motion up that Bill would talk to Tony Texera, the business administrator, about how much money we could keep. We had in the budget proposal, we had 35,000 for parking lot upgrades and 10,000 for the discretionary fund, keeping that and possibly more if possible. So that was what the motion was.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
So
the ayes have it.
What's your vote, Pat?
And what's your vote on that one, Pat?
Aye.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
And this is Don Maderas, just a general comment for the public. Typically, every year, the beach commission, after expenses, puts 100,000 into the town coffer. That's after we request money that we need to run the beach for the next year, so we've been doing that pretty consistently. Obviously, this year, revenue is going to be seriously less with half capacity for the beach. Also, with the added need for security detail, we're definitely going to be looking to give the town back less money this year to be able to operate. Thank you.
Jim, we still staff hiring. I think I should mention that we maintain staff at the beach. soon, so. Joe Mayano, making a motion that, our beach manager has requested what level of staff to maintain at the beach. And I'm gonna move that we maintain the level of staff at the normal level to preserve, safety, liability.
Do I have a second?
Don Madera, second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we've gone over the whole agenda.
What else?
We're gonna table that.
So I will make a motion that we table item.
Discussion on the subcommittee.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table discussion on the subcommittee.
Michael, we can't hear you.
It's Michael Fogarelli. I am making a motion that we table the discussion on the agenda item regarding the subcommittee.
Do I have a second?
Don Madera, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You got the security detail?
You'll get figure that out. Sharon's gonna help us with that.
Well, regarding the security detail, I'd like to make a motion that we charge the Nature Conservancy or talk to them about kicking in 50% of the cost of the security detail as we've heard them say at the town council and to us numerous times over the years, how they need a security detail, they want a security detail. I think it's time that they kicked in. Share the cost.
That's your motion.
Don, can you repeat that? It was breaking up a little bit.
So, Don Maderas, my motion is that we contact the Nature Conservancy about sharing the cost 50-50 of hiring the security detail after hours to police the beach, essentially, for lack of a better word.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Okay. Was,
So what's the process for that? You look into
Okay, as far as the security detail, I will start putting out feelers to find anything. Anyone in the audience that has anybody that might be interested in this, you want to get in touch with me through the beach email, southshorebeach@gmail.com, or the phone number, 239-4818. We will be looking for 4 gated tenants to be paying, I figure roughly we calculate between 15 and 17 an hour. And we'll go from there.
okay, is that the last thing on the agenda? Donald?
There's a review of the town council's special directive 3 revision 1 dated 3 June. I don't have the copy in front of me, perhaps we table that unless somebody else wants to speak to it.
I believe they asked you to develop a plan on parking.
No, that's what we're doing, so I guess we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. You might take a moment to read through the chat again, just to see if there's anything that hasn't been answered.
Read through the chat.
The first one is from Susan. If the beach is at half capacity, will we be paying 100% staff and staffing related costs? Extra security or COVID is a related expense. There are federal funds available. Where's the next one here? Susan again. please do not do that. I'm not sure what she's asking there.
That was in response to
Judy
ask,
Grogan, what does after-hour security mean after 11? Again, there won't be anybody there after 11 gate.
I think they froze again. Jim, I think you need to reset the internet again.
Hello?
I see you, Judy, but the beach commission is not.
Back again.
Okay, now they're there.
That again, guys.
Okay, hi, it's Judy Grogan. I have a question about the after-hour security. I'm a little bit confused. Is that after, Jim and the lifeguards leave, that you'll have a different security team there up until 11 PM? Or is that from 11 PM until 7 o'clock in the morning?
That's 5 to 11 PM. There'll be a security detail there.
Like a policeman?
No, it'll probably be some young men. Not a
Okay.
person, no.
Hey, well, what will their duties be? I'm curious on that.
Basically, their duties will be to allow only people with beach stickers in, so residents or town sticker holders.
Oh, okay.
Limiting the cars to 125 cars, maintaining the different rules and regulations, no campers, no fires, but that sort of stuff, that's gonna be there.
I see. And once the governor, opens everything up, that will end, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Make a motion. Oh. Next meeting, June 23rd. I make a motion, we adjourn. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can adjourn. Let's see